Unit 4, Lesson 2. Today's lesson is finding the slope given 2 points that lie on the line. Our learning target for today is I can find the slope of a line when given 2 points that lie on the line. This word is lie, L-I-E. Please write the learning target, then pause the video and try the do now on your own. And please try the do now on your own independently. Pause the video, try it, and then come back and check your answer. Okay. Well, welcome back. I hope that you paused and tried this on your own. So what type of slope does this line have? If I look at this line, it goes downhill. When I slide my pen across it from left to right, it goes downhill, so therefore it has a negative slope. I want to practice my multiple choice test taking skills. So I'm going to look at any equations that do not have a negative slope, and I am going to eliminate them. So which 2 answer choices should be eliminated if a multiple choice question asks what is the slope of the line? So this one is tricky because there's no numbers in front of x, but when there's no number in front of x, what it means is that there's a 1 there. So all of these are 1x's. This is a negative 1x. This is a negative 1x. Okay? So I'm going to eliminate answer choice A and answer choice B because these ones had positive slopes. We need a negative slope. Okay. So what is the slope of a line shown? This is the actual state question. Well, if I know that it has a negative slope, then I'm going to cross out answer choices A and B, leaving me with option C and option D as possibilities. They both have the same slope, so I'm going to look at the y-intercept of the line. Okay? The y-intercept is where the line touches the y-axis. I go down the y-axis until I touch the graph at positive 1. This is the only equation that has a negative slope and the y-intercept of positive 1, so it's got to be this. And if I look at the slope, the pattern to get from one point to the next is down 1 unit, right 1 unit, down 1 unit, right 1 unit, down 1 unit, right 1 unit. So it'd be down 1, right 1, which would be negative 1 over 1, which simplifies to negative 1. Okay, so that would be my slope. Okay, pause the video, take any notes that you need, and we're going to get moving. We have a few notes to take. Okay, so I hope you took all those notes. So, just reviewing some vocab. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my worksheets lined up right here. That's why, because this isn't straight. Slope is the measure of the direction and steepness of a line. Slope is also known as the constant rate of change of a linear equation. So you guys need to know that the word slope and constant rate of change are going to be used pretty much interchangeably. So that means they both mean the same thing. We can use one to mean the other. Okay? Slope and rate of change mean the same thing. We use the variable m to represent slope. Hopefully we know that by now, but if not, make sure we remember that. We can also think about slope as the rise over run or the change in the y values over the change in the x values. Symbolically, we use the formula here. M equals the change in y over the change in x. So this triangle in front of the y and this triangle in front of the x, it's a Greek letter. Okay? It's the Greek letter delta. In math, delta is read as changing. Okay? So delta y means change in y, delta x means change in x. So if you hear me say delta y, delta x, or change in y, change in x, they mean the same thing. Okay, so let's get to our lesson. Should be pretty quick and easy today. So, last class, last lesson, Unit 4, Lesson 1, we wrote the equation of a line, given the graph of a line. Today we're going to be working towards the goal of writing the equation of a line when given 2 points. And we're not going to be given a graph anymore. We're just going to be given the 2 points. So we have to figure out a strategy. How can I figure out what the slope of this line is when I can't even see the line graphed? Okay. So the method we're going to use is we're just going to put these 2 points in the table. And we actually did slope from a table in Unit 3. I forget what lesson that was, but go back to your Unit 3 lessons. We did slope of a line from a table. So when we have 2 points, 2 ordered pairs, -2, 2, 0, 0, I'm going to put them into a table. So -2, 2 is my first point. Remember, each point has an x and a y. Every point has an x first and a y second. So -2 is the x coordinate, +2 is the y coordinate. That's why -2 goes underneath the x column, y goes in the y column. And then the point 0, 0, the x and the y are both zeros. Okay. From here, we're going to subtract the x values to get the change in x. Oh man, this calculator's see better days. So negative 2 minus 0. I always want you to do top minus bottom. Gives me a change in x of -2. And then 2 minus 0 gives us a change in y of +2. I apologize for the announcements. Just bear with me. So the change in y always goes on top. A few students made this mistake and have been consistently making this mistake. Please study. The change in the y goes on top. So +2 goes in the top of the fraction. -2 goes in the bottom of the fraction. And then we always like to simplify. So I'm going to put that in the calculator. +2 in the numerator, -2 in the denominator. And that gives me a slope of -1. So the slope of this line, the slope of the line that connects these 2 points is -1. Okay. Well, let's check by actually graphing this. And we're pretty good at finding the slope from a graph. You could always plop these 2 points on a set of coordinate plane, like on a coordinate plane, and then find the slope by counting the change in y and the change in x, counting the boxes. So to find the slope of this line, I would go down 2 units and to the right 2 units. Okay. So the change in y would be -2. And the change in x would be +2. And then -2 divided by 2, when I put that in the calculator, would also give me a slope of -1. So I get the same answer at the end. Okay. So I'll throw it in the calc, just so you guys can see it. So -2 in the numerator, 2 in the denominator, still gives us -1 as an answer. I'm sorry for all the background noise, but I just want to get this lesson done.
Okay, at this time we will be dismissing students in the 6th
Okay.
wing.
So this point is the point -2, 2. I just wanted to make that clear. This is the point -2, 2. This point is the origin 0, 0. So what we did, just to confirm that what we did here works, we took the 2 points that we found the slope of using the table, we plotted those 2 points on the coordinate plane, and we used our counting method, counting boxes, and we still got the same slope. So we can find the slope from 2 points just by putting it in the table and calculating the change in y over the change in x, or we can put them in the coordinate plane.
Okay,
Sometimes, though, this method isn't so great because the numbers that we are given are too big. They won't fit on the graph. So sometimes this is the only way we can really do it with the tools that we have. So let's do 2 more examples together, and then I'm going to have you guys do these. So it's helpful to write the x and y
Students that are in need of an ID,
here.
please see me during your lunchtime.
The first point is 3, 4. So 3 goes in the x column, 4 goes in the y column. And the second point is 1, 7. 1 goes in the x column, 7 goes in the y column. Then we subtract to find the change in x. So subtract the numbers in the x column to find the change in x. 3 minus 1. I know we don't really need a calculator for it, but it's good to help if you struggle with those positive and negative numbers. 4 minus 7 is negative 3, so the change in y is negative 3. Now we're going to do the change in y, which is negative 3. Change in y always goes on top in the numerator. And change in x goes in the denominator on the bottom. And then I just want to check to make sure my slope of negative 3 over 2 is in simplest possible form.
Thank you.
So the slope is negative 1 1/2. It doesn't show an arrow, so this is already simplified. So negative 3 over 2 is simplified. They wrote this as a mixed number. Don't write it as a mixed number. Just keep it as negative 3 over 2. It's already simplified. I'm just going to write simplified. It's already done. Okay. Last example that we're going to do together. So pause if you need, and then write down this last example. So we're going to take these 2 points. We're going to plop them in a table. So 5, negative 4 is the first point. Second point is 2, 0. Okay. Then we're going to subtract the x's. 5 minus 2 is 3. Negative 4 minus 0. So let me just write that 5 minus 2 is 3. Negative 4 take away 0 is negative 4 rather. And then the change in y divided by the change in x. So the change in y is negative 4. The change in x is 3. And I'm just going to double check to see if that is simplified. Okay. I know that it is simplified already, but it doesn't hurt to show you. So we don't get that little down arrow here. The calculator does change this into a mixed number, right? But we don't want to write the mixed number. So keep it as the improper fraction. Just know that this is already simplified because it doesn't show the arrow pointing down. So I don't need to write anything else. This is already in simplest form. Okay, so my answer is negative 4 over 3, and the answer for this was negative 3 over 2. That's how you find the slope when you're given 2 points that lie in a line. That's how you find the slope of the line. Hope this was helpful. Please try the rest of this worksheet on your own, and have a great day. Oops.